History books left these out for a reason. Some disasters were too embarrassing to preserve, too ridiculous to explain, and too strange to fit neatly into the official record. First, there was the Great Mustache Tax of 1812. It began when several officials claimed that overly wide mustaches projected what they called economic arrogance. According to local reports, facial hair had become a visual sign of social tension. Men with broader, fuller mustaches were accused of carrying themselves like minor aristocrats, especially in crowded public markets. So the government did what governments have always done in moments of complete confusion. It taxed them. Barbers were appointed as unofficial inspectors. Brass rulers were used to measure mustache width from tip to tip. Men were expected to report changes in grooming, and tax brackets reportedly shifted depending on the spread and presentation of the mustache itself. The law quickly became impossible to enforce. Some men trimmed one side shorter to reduce their rate. Others folded their mustaches inward before inspections. One citizen reportedly argued that his mustache was, quote, morally wide, but not physically wide. The policy finally collapsed after families began gluing fake mustaches onto infants in an attempt to qualify for household grooming deductions. By winter, the tax was abandoned. To this day, historians rarely discuss the infant beard crisis of 1812. Then came the worldwide underwear shortage of 1943. As wartime textile production intensified, supply chains began to strain under global demand. Public officials urged calm, insisting that undergarment shortages were temporary and fully under control. They were not. Behind closed doors, households developed what later became known as the four-way rotation method. A single pair of underwear would be worn frontwards, backwards, inside out frontwards, and inside out backwards, all in the name of fabric preservation. Governments referred to it as disciplined garment rotation. Laundry days became matters of household diplomacy. Drying lines were monitored like military infrastructure. Families argued over drawer space, clothespins, and whether something could still be classified as wearable after the third turn. One city reportedly attempted a weekly undergarment inspection program, though the policy was abandoned almost immediately for reasons no one felt comfortable writing down. The shortage eventually eased after emergency textile shipments arrived, and several officials agreed never to mention the rotation system again in public. And finally, there was the public walking license of 1908. At the start of the 20th century, one city decided the sidewalks had become too chaotic to remain unregulated. Pedestrians were accused of turning corners too aggressively and displaying what one official described as excessive confidence in public motion. So, the city introduced walking licenses. Citizens were expected to carry identification proving they had completed basic pedestrian instruction. This reportedly included corner awareness, umbrella yielding, hat management, and safe street crossing conduct. Inspectors were sent to monitor public movement. Warnings were issued. Sidewalk behavior became a matter of administration. The entire system might have lasted longer if it had not become so immediately humiliating. School children forged temporary walking permits. One woman reportedly applied for a license to stand still, claiming it was the only legal form of movement left available to her. The policy ended after a public parade was delayed when spectators were asked to prove they were legally qualified to cross the street. By winter, the licensing office was shut down. So why do these stories survive at all? Maybe because history has never really been a record of human brilliance. Sometimes it is just a long list of avoidable embarrassments, poorly explained policies, and deeply confident people making life worse for everyone else. And if that pattern sounds familiar, that is purely coincidental. History did not forget these events. It buried them on purpose.